Welcome, everybody. My name is Bella Vasta, and today I have a question for you. How many of you guys have been just inundated with applications? Or have you maybe not even started trying to hire more people onto your team yet, but know that with the unemployment rate being at 13% right now in June 2020, you are going to be inundated. And then you're going to have the people too that are just applying because they have to apply to stay on unemployment. Oh my gosh. What a great problem to have, huh? But what about your time? How much do you value your time at, like per hour? Today, we're going to talk all about knockout questions. We're going to tell you what they are, what they're not, and how you can actually set them up so that it saves you time and it almost automates your process. This has been working phenomenally for a lot of my clients for the past 2 years. And so I finally wanted to bring on my friend now, Jen Kurtz from Jaz HR, to kind of just show us and walk us all through this. So Jen, welcome to the show and thanks for being here.
Hey, Bella, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you just give a quick shout out to like what you do for Jaz HR, what your position is, and how we got here today.
Yeah, totally. So I'm a customer success manager here at Jaz HR, and my primary role is to onboard new customers, provide training, educational resources to really help you get the best out of your platform and the biggest bang for your buck. Absolutely.
Awesome. And I'm so glad that you're here. We're only going to be here 20 minutes, you guys. So don't get too big of a cup of a coffee. And we're going to be here to try to just show you how this can just simplify your whole hiring process, because there's nothing worse, right, Jen, than getting multiple emails or going into like something like Indeed or wherever you might post and having to sift through all of those applications. It's depressing because a lot of them aren't even qualified, right? You're like, oh, I could never hire anybody. No, I told you, you have to live in my city, not 4 towns over. You know, there's all these things that happen. So what kind of problems as the client success manager do you hear of people going through applications? Like what kind of challenges just exist when you see all of them?
Absolutely. Well, with as easy it is to apply to jobs nowadays on platforms like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and so forth, people can really just, swipe left, swipe right to apply to your job, and they didn't even read the qualifications. So now, you're forced to reading theirs. They didn't even read your job description, and we can really help you eliminate those pain points for sure.
That's awesome. And we all know that time is money. And although we just got out of a season of our life where we had a lot of time, we're going to hopefully be going back to where we don't have time to just sit around for hours on end. So I've also seen a lot of people kind of start off with knockout questions and kind of do it wrong. So Jen, what are knockout questions not? What are they not?
Absolutely. Well, knockout questions are really meant to be just sort of qualifiers. They're not supposed to be a substitute for your interviewing questions. They really should not substitute having a phone conversation or a video virtual conference or even face-to-face, but really just to make sure that this person is even worth moving to the next step, even worth starting a conversation and seeing if there's a mutual fit.
So what I'm hearing is it's not like an actual interview. It's not something that's down the line. It's really literally to knock out the wrong person so that you don't have to like sift through all that stuff. Is that right?
Right.
Am I on the right
track?
Yes.
Yes. You can think of them as screening questions, definitely qualifying questions, to even see if you want to continue having a conversation with this person and, just consider them further. So it's meant to help you kind of hit those first couple of hurdles and really save you a lot of time at the same time.
So if I do have someone using that situation I used earlier, if I had someone who was applying for my pet sitter or dog walker position, that I needed someone like, let's say in Phoenix, right? But they lived in Chandler. Would I ever see it? And I asked a knockout question that was like, what city do you live in? How does that work? Like how would I not see that unqualified person because they're not in an area? Like walk me through that.
Yeah. So in Jaz HR, you can actually build your own questions for your job application. You could decide what that location desirably would be for your candidates to live in. You obviously want them to be close to where they're going to be working for you. So you can give them answers to choose from. You decide. You give them multiple choice answers to choose from. And then based upon the way they answer your questions, will determine whether or not they will move forward in the process or if they're going to be automatically rejected by your software. Thus, again, saving you time on having a phone call just to find out they live 50 miles away from your clients.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. I want to say a quick shout out and hello to Judy, who's watching us live, and Mel and Rebecca and Dee and Becky and Mary. Mary just did that. Mary, keep telling us about your experience with the knockout questions and what kind of questions you did, because my next question to Jen, before I actually ask her to open her screen and share it with us and show us what this looks like, because my next question I know that I have and that you guys probably have is, this must be really technical and hard to figure out. So I want you to show us, Jen. But before we get there, I want to hear, like, what are some good questions just in general?
Absolutely. So I think it's great to have questions that ask about, comfort level with different breeds of dogs, different sizes of dogs. If you are looking for dog walkers, if you're looking for pet sitters, you need to know, is this person going to be comfortable working with dogs and with cats? Would they be comfortable scooping, litter boxes and cleaning up after pet accidents? What about the weight of the dog? Are they okay with lifting up to 50 pounds, for bigger sized dogs? These types of things are really important to understanding someone's comfort level and experience with dogs or cats, of course, any other animals. And these things are just really helpful, just great questions. When you think about sort of your must-haves and what you might include in a job description, those are sort of the best, starting points for your knockout questions.
Yeah. And you know what I love about you guys is that I know that it's really hard to be creative sometimes, or we're like, well, what is it? So to me, knockout questions are basically your non-negotiables, you guys.
Right.
Like, what is something that you would see on an application that you're like, nope, next? You're like, oh, nope, absolutely not happening. Those are the questions that you make those knockout questions, that when application actually reaches you, you know that they've already jumped through those hoops and you haven't had to have that emotional experience, because it's an emotional experience, you guys. Okay. All right. So Jen, what, and I was also going to say, I'm so sorry that I'm like a space cadet right now. I love how you guys have partnered with us and actually given my crew knockout questions that I've already made. Abby, if you guys ever go to jumpconsulting.net/Jaz HR and talk to Abby, she gives you an actual application and knockout questions that you can choose from to get your brain flowing a little bit, which I think is kind of cool. So thank you for that, Jen.
Absolutely. Yes. We help you get started with those must-haves.
Yeah. So, all right. Can you show us how to set it up?
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our Jump Pet Sitting account here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I think guys, let us know in the comments. Can you see her screen? Go on.
Okay, fantastic. So within Jaz HR, we're looking at our candidates who've most recently applied to a job. And we could actually start with where we add these questions. So if we go to any of our jobs that we have posted, we have a really easy ability to create on the application tab a questionnaire. And a questionnaire is going to include your custom questions that you have created. Now, these are actually stored in your settings. You can create them underneath your settings and your templates so that you have them again for every new job that you post in the future. So I'm actually sharing with you my screen right now for my questionnaires page. And you can see I have some different questionnaires here: pet sitter, dog groomer, dog walker. And now I have these available that I could attach to any job I open in the future moving forward. If I take a look at the pet sitter questionnaire, these are custom questions that I have created for my jobs. So for instance, please choose the zip codes that you can work in. This is what you were referring to earlier, Bella, with like Phoenix and Chandler. Yeah. So what I've done here for this demonstration is pick some different zip codes around the Pittsburgh area where I reside. And I've essentially given these possible answers to our candidates. So if I wanted to have zip codes that show me where my clients are, I could put them here and then make sure that I'm getting those responses from my candidates and I'll know where they can work. So same thing if we go to some other questions here, like perhaps, are you willing to care for both big and small dogs? Well, if this is something that's really important to you and this is kind of a must-have, like Bella was talking about, we can't even talk to you if this is, if this isn't feasible for you. Exactly, non-negotiable. Then here we go. Are you willing to care for both big and small dogs? We're actually requiring an answer to this question here. We are choosing a dropdown, which is simply multiple choice for our candidates to answer. And then we design our answers. So we have yes and no here. We've actually flagged a little question here, or I'm sorry, an answer that says no, making this disqualifying. So this effectively is going to be one of our knockout questions. This is a disqualifying answer.
Ooh, so if I answered no to are you willing to care for both big and small dogs, then the business owner will never actually see the application.
That's right. Yes. As long as you go through the process of setting up an auto rejection in Jaz HR, and I can show you how to do that if you'd like, then you will actually. Okay, fantastic. So you can see how we put together this questionnaire. Now, if I have any of my candidates apply to a job where I have an auto rejection, you can see just like how on Alicia Jones here, this candidate, her status says she was auto rejected on the basis of she does not meet these minimum qualifications. Now, let's see what this looks like when she applied to the job. We'll show you the live
now
posting.
We can see why she was automatically rejected. Is that what you're showing us?
Absolutely. So this is the job description, the live job. And she filled this out. And then here's our questions, right? So she's answering, she's choosing from yes or no, like we've built here, yes or no. And the candidate doesn't see what is disqualifying. She or he is just giving their answer, correct?
Right.
Now, when she actually submitted her application, we can take a look at it here. We can actually see her status as auto rejected because if we scroll down below her resume to her actual job application, we can see the answers she's provided for us.
I love how it's color coded.
Absolutely. And you can't miss it. You have the red flags here on the right, letting you know this is a disqualifying answer. These blocks are pink. So you can see exactly which questions this candidate has chosen your disqualifying answers for. Therefore, she's no longer even sitting in a new status. She was moved to a not hired status. You don't even have to spend any time looking at her resume, calling her, setting up a phone screen to find out these simple answers that you already got just from her application.
That's awesome. And I know from working in the system too, that if she were to apply again in like 6 months from now, and we didn't delete our data, it would tell us that she was already knocked out for whatever reason, right?
That's right. Well, Jaz HR will actually pick up your duplicate candidates based on email address or phone number being the same as a previous applicant that you have. So that's a nice benefit. And then, yes, you'll be able to see that she had been rejected to you on a previous application.
Awesome. And so you kind of showed us how to save the knockout questions. Could you just show me specifically again so that I know some people might want to come back to this at one point and be like, how do I do that?
Absolutely. So again, these are underneath your settings in Jaz HR. And then in your templates, you have questionnaires here on the first left-hand side. And this is where you can create your questionnaires and you will save your questionnaire. So another nice feature here is that, again, anytime you create a questionnaire, you can easily attach it to a new job application in the future. You can even clone your knockout questions or your questionnaires as well. That way, if you want to make some subtle changes from one job to another. I actually did that exact thing here when I created dog walker questionnaire, cloned it, and then made it just a little bit different for pet sitters.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so this also ties into Becky's question. She says, can you have different knockout questions for each job posting? And so by the looks of it, and you're the expert, I don't want to outspeak, but it looks like we've got 4 different sets of questionnaires or knockout questions. So how do I actually attach these questionnaires to the application?
Perfect. Great question. So when you create or edit any job, you'll notice these tabs along the top here, allowing you to create the job. And this all takes place on this application tab. Now on the application tab is where you can set up exactly your application, right? What you want your candidates to give you when they apply. And below these basic profile questions that you can choose from is where you can add your questionnaires from your templates. Or you can create a new questionnaire. Yes, absolutely. So once you add your questions here, then when you proceed to the top, this is actually where you set up the auto rejection. So if I had not already done so, I would just have screening questions. It would look like this. It would do the same effect where we have the red flags and the little pink square on the candidate profile. However, it wouldn't automatically reject them. It would just keep them in the new status and sort of act as a screening question. But once you press this little auto reject candidates button is when you set up how you want them to be rejected. And that's what
Let's
we've done.
talk about rejection for a minute here. Because I know this is a pain point, and I've heard a lot of different things. Like our HR gal that we work a lot with, Nikki from Jaz HR, I'm sorry, from HR Answers. She says that, each company should kind of just adopt a policy, whether you send a rejection letter to everyone or you just don't do it. So what if, tell me more about this rejection letter. Like, can I send different rejection letters for different reasons? Or like, does it send it to them right away so that it's kind of like, oi, like, oh my gosh, like I was rejected that fast. How could I be rejected that fast? Like it's kind of an uncomfortable spot for some business owners. So
it's kind of like an uncomfortable necessity, right? You want to close the loop with your candidates. You want to let them know if you've evaluated them so that they don't continue to apply to the same job thinking that you just haven't seen them.
Yeah.
But luckily, there's a lot of these tools inside of Jaz. And a lot of these come down to your templates. So there's different email templates in Jaz. There's even what we call workflow automation. And we are going to cover that, I believe, in a future webinar together, right, Bella?
Yes.
But for today's purpose, just know that there are email templates you can create. So you can word the rejection exactly how you'd like. You could have different rejection type of templates for different reasons if you wanted to. But from this standpoint where we are today on the job, if we were to auto reject someone, notice that when I set up these instructions here on my screen, I can choose when I would like to have a rejection letter.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly. If I have one already tied to my workflow, which we'll talk in the future about, then you can definitely determine when you want them to receive it. So if I choose 24 hours here, the candidate will be rejected, but they won't know that for at least another 24 hours when the email is sent.
So no awkward to apply, right? And then automatically get a rejection email. Like
that will never happen. It will never happen automatically. And even if you look at our candidate here, Alicia, she applied today. She was auto rejected today.
Yeah.
However, I can show you on her emails tab that this email is set to be scheduled. And we have a nice rejection letter template that will be sent to her at 2:30 tomorrow.
I have so many more questions for you, but I want to keep this training all about just knockout questions because that's really the cherry on top of all of this. And we're going to start unpacking it, you guys, over the next 4 weeks. Jen has actually agreed to join us, and we are going to actually be going through next week how to know if your hiring ad is working. Jaz HR has this incredible way to basically show you what's converting. So how cool is that? I've never heard of that anywhere else. We're also going to talk in the 3rd week all about how can people get through the hiring funnel fast without causing you a lot of time. And then last, in the 4th week, we're going to actually talk about the secret to keeping the applicant excited through the interview process, all of which are just becoming major hot topics right now as our economy is so unstable. And it's important more now than ever to really find those amazing people, keep them engaged, and make them want you as much as you want them, right? So let's see. Becky says, can you input your actual paper job application? And keep your questions coming right now, you guys, because we have time for a couple more. Jen, I'm going to throw this one over to you.
Yeah, absolutely, Becky. What you would do in Jaz HR is you would take those questions that are important to you on your paper application. You'd go ahead and create them a questionnaire so that your candidates can answer them electronically. You're going to save trees, you're going to save on paper, and you'll capture those answers right there on that candidate profile, right along with their resume.
I love it so much. And so Pam said, and we answered this one, does it send them a rejection email? Yes, it does at whatever time frame that you decide. And Rebecca asks, is this available for any business?
Absolutely, Rebecca. Anyone who has any hiring to do can certainly benefit from Jaz HR.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, you guys. So I want to remind you that Jaz HR has been a wonderful partner of mine. And you know that I do not talk about anyone unless I truly believe in them. I've literally used Jaz HR to find a nanny for my daughter last year. And I've also helped other friends' businesses. I've helped some pet sitters find their next person. It works. And the way in which it streamlines everything is amazing. So because of that, yes, I've partnered up with them. You've heard about it. But the only way to get 50% off the middle plan, that's $100 savings, is to go to this link right here, which is jumpconsulting.net/JazHR. Abby will reach out to you, and Jen here, this way, success manager who is deeply engaged in making sure that you feel supported and know exactly what you're doing. Her and her team are phenomenal. I mean, whether it's email or calling. So I just always encourage you guys to reach out to me or to them, because I know that new software can be a little like crazy and daunting, but these guys are really here to set you up for success. Jen, do you have any final thoughts or words about knockout questions or Jazz or our community or anything? I'm going to give you the last words here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bella. Just wanted to say Jazz is extremely user-friendly, just like Bella said, very, very easy to pick up and use. Our team is going to make sure that you understand how to use it once you get signed up, and you definitely won't regret it. It's going to make your business and your hiring needs so much easier.
I'm so sorry. I just kind of closed it and then I saw these last two questions. So we are going to, let's see, Becky says input in the same place as knockouts. I'm not sure what that means, Beck. I would encourage you to just shoot Jen an email and ask her directly. Is that okay, Jen?
Yeah, that would be fine, Becky. You can find me at jen.kurtz, Kurtz, @jazzhr.com.
Okay, awesome. And then Mel asks, can you explain where Jazz puts the application? Meaning, does it only stay on Jazz or does it go out to Indeed, et cetera? So yeah, can you get a high level version of this?
Sure. Thanks, Mel. When you post your job in Jazz HR, it's actually syndicated to about 20 different job boards. That's going to include Indeed, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, those that I'm certain you're familiar with. They'll see your job description there. They'll apply. They will all be funneled and collected back into Jazz HR, where you can work with your candidates, manage their progress, and communicate with them all in one central location.
That's amazing. Yes. And the thing is that's basically what Jazz HR does. So unlike, if you were just to post to Indeed, and I have a blog that I'll drop here, the difference between Jazz HR and Indeed and how they kind of compare. The thing is that Jazz actually posts to like 15 to 20 job boards at once for you. And then you get analytics that show you which platform is actually taken off the most, but then also which job that you've posted has converted from people that have seen it to people that have actually applied. And we're going to talk more about that in an upcoming training, but it's quite amazing because, before you just post on Craigslist or you just post on Indeed, and then you have to sift through all of it. And so Jazz kind of takes it up a level and makes it the Mac Daddy while saving you time. And my words, of course, and
I love it.
Sifting through it for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And like you said, Bella, then you're not logging into 10 different accounts. You have everyone coming into the same place and all the wonderful tools from there.
Mel says, that's awesome. She's only used Indeed, so it sounds much better. It kind of is. It's amazing. I'll drop that link below if maybe I can't get someone else to drop it right now. And then Becky says for the app question, Becky, I'm so sorry. I'm not understanding your question. And Vicky, yeah, go ahead and either go to that jumpconsulting.net/JazzHR, or if you have Abby's email from interfacing with her before, you just email her and ask her about the plan that you're on. Honestly, I really encourage you to, Hero Plan is just like the very, very basic plan, and you can't get as many analytics and reports and make it like drive as fast as you want. So I really do suggest, is it called the Pro Plan or Plus Plan?
Definitely, yeah. Plus is the next step up from Hero. That's what a lot of our jump consulting businesses go for. It's going to be the best serving. And also that's where you're going to get some automation. There's no automation in that Hero Plan.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks again for being here. That was amazing. I can't wait to have you back again next week. You guys, JumpyBot is gonna, for all of you who are interested in this show, JumpyBot's gonna jump up and register you for next week. Next week, I have the whole list here. How do you know if your hiring ad is working? We're gonna talk about the problem with all the competition out there, what success looks like, what knowing your numbers mean, because there actually are numbers to know for your applications that are coming in. What should you test? What should you change? And all the intricacies and screen shares. We'll screen share and show it to you too. So it's gonna be pretty exciting. Jen, thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Bella. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye everyone.